Hello everyone, this is Anthony Daniel from EBC News. Tonight we have a lot of stuff going around in the world. Accidents, robberies and everything. But I think today we should take a break from all that and focus on one of our great philosophers in this world, Aristotle. You might ask, who is Aristotle? Well, get ready, sit back, relax, listen while Anthony Daniel tells you all. Aristotle was born 384 BCE in a city named Stagirus. His father was named Nicomacheus. His father actually was a big influence in Aristotle's life. He actually helped Aristotle develop the Nicomachean ethics, which we'll talk about later. His father, Nicomacheus, was the court physician of the king Amyntas of Macedonia. The sad news is Aristotle's father died when Aristotle was 17. So Aristotle went to Athens to study philosophy under the great Plato. Plato basically taught Aristotle all of his works, how to do it. Another sad fact is Plato died in 347, which meant Aristotle had to prove he was a true leader in the philosophical world. Now basically a sign of a leader, he developed his own school, and he named that school Lyceum. Lyceum was basically born because what Aristotle did was, he was looking, because he didn't have any money, so he went outside the city and he found an old wrestling school. So what he did with that wrestling school was he cleaned it up, basically, painted and everything, get people to work on it and stuff, and that's how Lyceum was born. And he did Lyceum because he received permission from Alexander the Great to start his own school in Athens. And at Lyceum, he was a writer, a researcher, and basically a teacher, because he basically taught Alexander the Great. He was King Philip's second son. And in Lyceum, there was over 200 works he composed, which only 31 survive today, which we'll talk again about later. A lot of his works were basically science, math, and philosophy, basically what he revolved around. And he basically taught his own curriculum of science and philosophy. He didn't have any space, so... Alright, philosophy. He had a huge impact on the philosophical world. He believed that philosophy was a systematic concept of logic. And his main objective was to come up with the secular or world, a process of thinking which would allow man to learn everything about reality. What's wrong with that? And he observed how true an argument was, basically the validity of that argument, how true and valid that argument was. He thought deduction in life was reasonable. Basically, he thought that if you get knocked down, you can get right back up, because failure is an option, but you have to get back up from that failure. You can't just dwell on it. You have to get right back up from that failure. And he rejected the term space, because he believed that your soul was your perfect expression. And he made huge impacts on us, basically how we think and learn today. He thought that objects were main senses. What you wanted was how you got in heaven. Basically, what your dream is, what you pursue in life, what you want to do, that's how you get in heaven. If you execute your pursuit, if you follow your pursuit, that's how you get to heaven, according to Aristotle. Which is a good point. Happiness was found through human nature. It wasn't just given, it was found through nature. The Nicomachean Ethics, which were brought up earlier, they were a deep investigation into human nature. Basically what he named after his father. Taught about, the human nature, how basically his philosophical work. And he questioned how the church was ran, argued with the church. And his worldly influence showed a lot about scientific performance. He was different than one of the great philosophers we learned about, Copernicus. He was different because Copernicus believed the world was run around heliocentric, which is basically the world was run around the sun. But Aristotle believed the world was geocentric, basically it ran around the earth. Everything ran around the earth. And now sad news. Aristotle died 322 BC north of Athens. He died from digestive complaint. Basically, he had something and it affected his digestive system. Cool. You probably ask, who took over Lyceum? Well, actually, he had his favorite students take over Lyceum. So basically, the students who were smart and participated the most in class, he had them take over. His main objective was executed. 31 of his works survive today, and they were found in an old cellar, right in Athens. His works were rediscovered in 30 BC by Andronicus. He helped a lot of people by discovering in philosophy. He also developed a form of reasoning. Other facts. Alexander the Great died in 623 BC. And when Aristotle's wife died, he married right after, no hesitation, just married. Thank you everyone for understanding this and how great Aristotle was to us. He was one of our great philosophers. Thank you to history.com, iep.utm, philosophyforlife.org, Galileo and Einstein, and Mortimer J. Adler for all our sources. Thank you everyone, and let's all remember Aristotle.